Welcome, everyone, and thank you for being here this morning. I want to start by saying this. Success in this business isn't about being the loudest, the flashiest, or the most experienced person in the room. It's about learning a simple formula and being willing to follow it consistently. Now, tonight we're going to dive into a short but powerful video from someone I've respected for years, and that's Richard Bliss Brooke. He's a legend in the world of network marketing. And what you're about to hear might be the simplest breakdown of what actually creates duplication, momentum, and long-term success. And whether you're brand new or a seasoned leader, this video is pure gold. So grab a notebook. You're going to want to take some notes, clear your distractions, and open your heart and mind as we watch Richard share the secret formula for building a business that works.
What we're going to talk about now is my super secret formula for success. We're going to start with what I trust for you will be a breakthrough in how you see your opportunity. This little exercise that we're going to go through is an exercise that you can use with people on your team. You can use it with perhaps prospects if they know enough about what we're doing, but it's really a better exercise for people that are on your team. And these questions came from questions that I asked large groups of people over a long enough period of time to get clear on the answer. The last time I think I asked these was last year in a generic event, and there were maybe a couple of thousand people there, maybe 200 different network marketing companies. And I asked everybody in the audience, so how many of you think your products are the most phenomenal products that any company has ever developed for the marketplace, for consumers, life-changing, miraculous products? How many of you represent products like that? And out of 2,000 sales leaders and maybe 200 different companies, how many hands do you think went up? So the next question is, how many of you authentically feel like your company, which includes your leadership and your opportunity and your fancy website and your philosophy and your culture and the compensation plan and all of that wrapped together, how many of you feel like your opportunity is the most phenomenal opportunity ever? And then I would ask the crowd, how many of you have personally sponsored 4 or 5 people in the last 4 or 5 months? And out of 2,000 people, where before all the hands went up, how many hands do you think went up? Maybe 5%. Yeah. When you're in front of the room and you're watching a large audience, you can actually see who hasn't personally sponsored 4 or 5 people, but they just realized that if they don't raise their hand, somebody sitting next to them is going to go, what? You haven't sponsored 4 or 5 people? So they go. If you could get to the truth, it'd be about 5%. So then here's what we know about the business model. In order to get 3 or 4 people who are going to actually do it, you really do have to personally sponsor somewhere between 30 and 100 people to get 4 who are going to stick, actually be leaders, not be sometimers, just actually build something, build some kind of an empire. You're going to have to, it's going to be somewhere around 5 or 10% of the people. So you're going to have to personally enroll a lot of people. So if you're not personally enrolling on a regular basis, you're actually out of the game. Until you're regularly enrolling people, you're a bystander. And there's a lot of different words for that. I'm getting around to it. I'm learning. I'm trying. As soon as I get time, and you got this whole story. But if you just look at the facts and look at the numbers, you're either enrolling or you're not enrolling. There is no try. You either are or you aren't. And your 4-year career doesn't start until you are. and on a regular basis. What I found from working with people over long periods of time is that the people who wanted to sponsor, they actually wanted to build a team, but they weren't. The reason they weren't is they didn't think they knew how. So if you interview people who they want to build a team, so they're not the people who are, well, I'm not sure, I'm getting committed to something else tomorrow. They're actually committed and they want to build a team, but they're not building a team. If you could get inside their head and their heart and study them and interview them and say, okay, what's missing? What you would hear are things like, well, I don't know who to talk to, or I don't know where to find my prospects. Not sure about how to do the presentation, or they're afraid the people are going to say no. So I came up with this pretend, I like pretend things, pretend scenario that helped people see that none of that was necessary. I want you to pretend that just like in 1946, where the management of California Vitamins changed the entire paradigm of network marketing by introducing the idea that anybody could enroll, introducing the eighth wonder of the world in geometric progressions, creating network marketing as a business model. I want you to imagine that your company changed the entire business model again by recognizing how much value actual leaders bring to a company. So instead of paying you commissions on sales, or maybe even in addition to paying you commission on sales, what they're going to pay you is, it's actually illegal to do this, or maybe companies would be figuring out how to do it, they're going to pay you what's called a headhunting fee. I want you to imagine that your company is going to pay you $500, not for everybody that you recruit, but for everyone that you invite to take a look. So I'm going to repeat this 2 or 3 times until you clearly get it. I want you to pretend that your company is going to pay you $500 for everyone you just invite to take a look. Now that has to be done with some integrity, so you have to have a tool ready to give them. You have to have a conversation that sounds like, would you like to take a look? And then you have the tool. They don't have to say yes. You get paid if you ask them to look. You get $500 for everyone you ask, with one caveat. You have to ask one person a day. By midnight every night, you have to have asked one person a day. If you don't, that program is never available for you again. So you don't get to use any excuses. It doesn't matter what happens circumstantially to you and your business. You have to make an invite once a day to get the 500, 7 days a week. Go to church in the morning and invite in the afternoon, or invite at church. So that's $15,000 a month, $500 for every invite. And if you ever miss any excuse, you get sick, you get in a car accident, that doesn't matter. You're out. One invite a day. So my first question is, would you perform on that agreement? So would you look at that and say, you know what, that's a good deal, I'm in. Second question is, now think about this, could you perform on that agreement? Do you have the ability? Third question, this is the disabling question that people who are not in action stew in. And that question is, who would you talk to? This is an important physiological exercise. Call it guided visualization, if you will. I want you to get in touch with how your body moves, feels in this scenario. Every day that you invite one person to take a look, you get $500, and you have to play every day. And the question is, I'm going to ask the question again. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, and I want you to feel how you would feel. Close your eyes. $500. The question is, who are you going to talk to? Don't verbalize the answer. Be in touch with how your body feels. Who are you going to talk to? You got the essence of that? What you just experienced is what it feels like to be a master network marketer. That's what it feels like. How many of you experienced peace, calm, confidence, fun, adventure? Everything you experienced was positive. That's what it feels like. The answer you might have verbalized is that you would talk to everyone. But I'm going to actually give you a different answer that probably speaks to how you felt. Because the real answer is you wouldn't talk to everyone. Who you would talk to is anyone. And there's a big difference. Talking to everyone is kind of what a brand new crazed distributor does. You know, they go out and they just make a nuisance of themselves talking to everyone. But a professional master network marketer does not talk to everyone. Why? Because it makes a nuisance of you. It does not serve our profession well for you to talk to everyone. It's unprofessional, it's obnoxious, it's just not attractive. And think about the model that you're displaying for the person that you're looking to recruit. They're looking at you, and what you're asking them to do is do what you're doing. And you're acting like a crazy person, talking to everyone about your opportunity and just talking. What a master network marketer does is knows that they at all times are in control and have the ability to talk to anyone. And if you only need to talk to one person a day, you have all kinds of opportunities. So you're at peace throughout the day. You never feel panicked. You never feel like you need to glom on to somebody and get them to listen to you. You never feel like you need to get them in. A master network marketer never feels like they need to get someone in. What they know is all they need to do is invite. And everything else takes care of itself. The fourth question is, for $500 and all you need to do is invite, what would you say to them? If you were to interview every person in network marketing that makes over $10,000 a month, and if you could actually capture the line that invited them to take a look, I can guarantee you 99% of them, whatever their sponsor said to get them to look, didn't sound anything like the company presentation. Nothing like it. Why? It doesn't really matter. It's really hard to say the wrong thing to the right person at the right time. And that's what causes people to look at our opportunity as you get to them at the right time in their life. If it's the wrong time in their life, it's not that they don't want to make more money. It's not that they're not interested in your product. They just can't hear you. Because what's going on in their life right now is just too overwhelming for them. You got to get people at the right time. So if you imagine for $500 for an invite, what you would say to people, the answer that we find that most people sort of settle into that actually gives them peace and confidence is, I don't really know what I would say to them, and it doesn't matter anymore. You would say whatever you needed to say. You would say whatever you were inspired to say. And that's all that matters. And I'm not saying training's not important and presentation's not important. It is all important, and it's about 10% of what's important. 90% of what's important is for you to see and feel yourself doing it with peace, power, freedom, and authenticity. 90% of it is you just, I'm in. This is nothing but green lights for me. The last question to ask yourself is, what would you do if people said no? You get $500 an invite, what would you do if people said no? Notice your body. Who are you going to talk to? What are you going to say to them? What are you going to do if they say no? How are you going to feel if they say no? Notice for $500 an invite how that feels. Notice how it's like, whatever. In fact, cha-ching. Those places that perhaps you could feel, see yourself and feel, that's where you want to get to. And where you want to move away from is that whole thing about, I don't know who to talk to. I've got to run ads or I've got to do internet. And it's not that ads and internet that's fine if you want to do that stuff. It's fine to do that. I mean, the more efficient you can be, the better. That's all fine. and none of it matters. You don't need any of it, and if you want to do it, it's great. If you want to be a master network marketer, you want to be able to be dropped out of an airplane anywhere in the world where your company does business, and you can hit the ground running. Hit the ground like your company was paying you $500 to ask somebody to just take a look. And here's the secret formula. That's 1, 2, 3, 2 plus 2, 10,000, 2,700,000, and the last number is 2,857.14. How do you decode the secret formula? Well, the first number, 1, stands for 1 invite a day. Simple enough, 7 days a week. 1 invite a day shall result in 2 presentations a week. And this is an important distinction because we're talking about a ratio. Ratios are something as a master network marketing leader that you will become masterful at knowing and teaching. And ratios just look like this. If I invite 10 people to look at my business, how many actually look? I'm saying 2 actually in this secret formula. And of course it'll be different for everyone. But here's the point about the ratio that I want you to understand. Because you may look at that and you may say, I got to talk to a lot more than 7 people to get 2 to actually take a look. And I will say, yeah, that's probably true now. But if you follow the secret formula, I say that won't be true. And follow this logic. If you were to invite 1 person a day under the motivational umbrella of getting $500 a person, like doing it that way, with that kind of peace and power and authenticity and fluidity and fun and adventure and spontaneity, and I mean, if you were to do it that way, and you invite 1 person a day for, let's say, 90 days. So you have personally invited 90 people to look at your opportunity, and you've done it in a compressed period of time. If you invited 90 people in 90 days versus 90 people in 90 months, the difference is night and day. 90 people in 90 days will produce an exciting result. 90 people in 90 months will produce nothing, even though it could be the exact same people. So here's what I can tell you about inviting 90 people in 90 days. In most companies, probably even in your company, that act would place you in the top 1% of all leaders in your company worldwide for that 90-day period. Meaning that only 1 out of 100 people might invite at least 90 people in 90 days in your company in that 90-day period. Now that's kind of a blanket statement. I obviously don't know exactly how many people. The point is, you're in rarefied air. You're an elitist if you're inviting 1 person a day for 90 days straight. You're going to know more about inviting people to look at your opportunity than 99% of the people in your company. You're going to have that level of experience in 90 days. You don't need mastery in network marketing to make $10,000 a month. You don't. How do I know? Because if I paid you $500 for everybody you invited, do you know who to talk to? Do you know what to say to them? Do you know how to emotionally handle the rejection that you're going to get most of the time? Mastery. That's 10 grand a month. Those 3 things are what eliminate most people from even playing the game. I don't know who to talk to. I don't know what to say to them. What do I do if they say no? Those people don't get 10 grand a month. People that get 10 grand a month are the people who go, I talk to anybody I want. What do I say to them? I don't know. Depends on them. Depends on the moment. What do you do if they say no? Cash in? I don't know. See the difference? That's all. That's the only difference between people that make 10 grand a month and people that don't. That's the only difference. Here's how I know you're going to have a very high ratio of presentations to invites if you invite 1 person a day for 90 days. I know that because you're going to be cream of the crop in your company. You're going to be the best of the best. The first 30 days, you may feel like, yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing. I've talked to 15 people. I still don't have any presentations yet. But by the end of 90 days, you're going to be doing presentations in the 12th week to people you invited in the first week who told you absolutely no, never, not interested, not going to look at it, which is what I told my sponsor the first 3 times he prospected me. No, not ever. 3 weeks later, I bought $5,000 worth of product. How many of you have a similar story? No, not ever. And within 90 days, you were in. 2 presentations a week is 8 presentations a month. The ratio that I'm suggesting is if you'll do 8 presentations a month, however you do a presentation, but it's enough information so somebody can make a decision to join your company as a builder. Not as a customer, as a builder. So whatever that presentation is, you do 8 of those presentations a month for 3 months. 24 presentations, full presentations. Maybe you don't do it. Maybe in your company you just facilitate it. And it's, let's join the hour-long webinar or whatever it is. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter who does it. All that matters is you, as the intended sponsor, facilitate 8 presentations. You get people there. By the end of 3 months, you're going to be somewhere close to this ratio. 3 out of 8 people are going to join your business. Some of the people are going to join that you presented to 2 months ago, and they're going to join 2 months later. You're going to get this good. Why? Because hardly anybody does 8 presentations in a month. It's like 24 presentations in 3 months. If you surveyed your company, if you got 100,000 people in your company, and you could actually survey what percentage of these 100,000 people have ever done 24 presentations in a 90-day period? Less than 2 or 3%. Probably 1%. Which makes you what? Rockstar. Okay, so 1 invite a day, 2 presentations a week, 3 business builders a month for 2 + 2 years. And here's what for 2 + 2 years means. You personally enroll at that rate. Now, does that mean if 1 month you only have 1 or you only have 2? No. It doesn't really matter the actual number. What matters is the intensity. What matters is the compression of time. What matters is the activity. So there might be months you only sponsor 1, and some months it just happens that 5 fall in because they've been in the pipeline for 9 months. Doesn't matter the monthly number. What matters is this, that you personally enroll people who declare, I get it, I'm doing it. And you keep personally enrolling people who declare, I get it, and I'm doing it, until your business runs away from you. So here's what 2 + 2 means. 2 years personally enrolling at that pace on the outside. I don't know anyone in this profession, in any company, that is personally enrolled aggressively, successfully for 2 years and not built an enormous empire. Enormous. I don't know anybody that's ever done that. Most people that I know that have personally enrolled successfully and aggressively only have to do it for 6 to 12 months. But do it for at least 2 years, or a better way of looking at it is, do it until your business runs away from you. So maybe you do it for 2 years, and then what do you do for the next 2 years of your 4-year career? You fan the fire. You blow on it. You lead. You inspire. You train. You coach. You build out those deeper generations. You drive it deep. Now, does that mean that you don't drive deep in the first 2 years? No. Here's what personal master sponsoring looks like from a strategy. I personally sponsor Krista. She raises her hand and she says, I get it, I'm doing it. I'll show you what my response is to Krista telling me, I get it, and I'm doing it. no response until Krista does what? Till she does it, till she acts, till she produces. So I use a simple system. I just give hoops for people to jump through. Assignments. We call them commitment tests, leadership tests, motivational tests. So Krista says, I get it, and I'm doing it. I say, great. Put together a list of 100 people, and let's get together in the next 2 or 3 days. Call me when you're ready. Krista doesn't call me, what do I do? Here's what most people do in network marketing. Krista doesn't call me, what do I do? Please call me. What's the matter? You say, oh, you can't do it this week? What about next week? I don't want to get too busy. I don't want to talk to anybody else, just in case she gets ready. We chase people who just really want to be chased. Sucks the life out of us. So it's not that I write Krista off. I don't write her off. She's on my team. I'm ready to work with her whenever she's ready to work. But the people I work with are the people that put the list together and say, okay, let's meet now. Or if I have a meeting, they show up. Work with people that want to work. And don't pay any attention to what people say. Nothing they say matters. It doesn't mean anything what people say. The only thing that demonstrates that people are committed is what they do. So as long as she does what I ask her to do, think about it this way. If Krista did everything I asked her to do, if I said, okay, put together a list of 100 people and let's get together, and she shows up, and then I say, okay, I want you to go study the compensation plan and come back with 10 or 15 questions about the compensation plan. Come back in a couple of days with questions, and she does that. And then I say, okay, now what I want you to do is get the product in the hands of your top 20 candidates, sell it to them, give it to them, whatever you want to do, get it in their hands and set up appointments for them to meet with you and I so I can show them the business or whatever your system is. If she keeps doing what I tell her to do, is she going to be successful? Yeah, she is. So I work with her. So I sponsor Krista. If she makes a commitment, flakes out, as soon as she flakes out, I'm on to somebody else. As soon as she decides now's not the right time. It's not a judgment call on my part. Like, I don't think she's a bad person. I don't think she's a flake. I don't think any of that. I don't have time to think that. I really want to know what all the stuff that's going on with her. It's okay, whatever's going on with her. And I'm here to work with you whenever you get it sorted out. I am here for you. Let me know when that is by getting those 100 names and showing up at the whatever I ask you to show up at. And here's when our calls are, and here's when our events are, and all of that's right there for you. Good? We're good, right? Then I'm right here. When I say personally enroll 3 business builders a month, maybe it's 1, maybe it's 5, but you keep up that process until your group's running away from you. And how do you know it's running away from you? You just can't keep up with it. You can't keep up with the growth. You can't keep up with people that are making requests of you. You just can't keep up. It's growing away from you. And that's a clue for you to start to move more towards not management, but inspiration, coaching, and support. And you never, ever stop personally enrolling. Ever. Whether you ever need people to enroll or not. And here's why. Our business lives and dies on duplication. It lives and dies on enrollment of new distributors. If we ever stop enrolling, growth stops. And that may not mean anything to you if you're making your $5 or $10 or $20,000 a month, but it means everything to the new person who came into business 6 months ago or a year ago. If everything stops, there's no opportunity for them. So we don't need to keep recruiting to keep replacing everybody that quits. You shouldn't need to keep doing that. If you got great products and people get on the products, you should be building. You need to keep recruiting for the opportunity to be real for new people who come in the business. And you have to know this already. I know you guys know this already. You can tell people any which way you want. You can use any tool, any form of speaking motivation you want to instill in them the obligation and the desire to personally recruit, and nothing compares to you doing it. So if you're my team, the number one thing that I can do to inspire you to send the signal to you that it is all about duplication is for me to continue to do it. And as soon as I go into the mood of, I have enough, I'm too busy, I'm too good to recruit, and I'm just going to tell you to do it, the decline starts. It may take a year or two for it to start, but it'll start. It's like a cancer. It's a ripple effect. Once I'm too good for it, they're too good for it. Within 3 or 4 months, they're too good for it. Then you're all too good for it. And before long, the 90% of my organization is too good to recruit. And now we have like bad things setting in. You're all familiar with this in the 4-year career. So this is just more about how long do I stay in massive personal enrollments till you get your car over the hill. And the great thing about the car over the hill analogy is here's what you can't do in network marketing. You can't start and stop. You just can't. I suppose starting and starting again is better than starting and stopping and never starting again. Certainly it is. But starting and stopping is more challenging than if you'd never started to begin with. Like, you don't get any added value for your history. It actually is a detractor. What you want to do is, if you think you're not ready, wait till you're ready. Wait till you're ready to at least give it 90 days of a full-out effort. Not being a maniac, but just being consistent. It's consistency. It's not being a maniac. It's consistency. The person that will invite one person a day for 90 days will outproduce the maniac every day of the week. One person a day for 90 days. Give it that 90-day run. If you're not there at 90 days, give it another 30 days. If you're not there at 120, give it another 30 days. Give it everything you got until you get your car over the hill. And just know that if you ever stop to rest or be distracted, what happens to your car? It quickly stops. And it rolls back over you. And getting it started again, 10 times harder than starting the first time. So just realize that whenever you're tempted to take a break, it is going to be 10 times harder to start after the break than it was to get started to begin with. If you personally enroll at that level for up to 2 years, which I think that's a stretch that you'd ever have to do it that long, between 1 year and 2 years, and then you lead and coach and inspire for another 2 years, at the end of 4 years, you should be earning about $10,000 a month. Maybe it's 6, maybe it's 18. You should have a substantial business. And if you're earning $10,000 a month, your business is worth how much money? It's worth $2 million as an asset. Now, for you to believe that, you have to study asset value, residual income and asset value. You don't want to take my word for it. You don't want to quote my word for it. For you to be masterful and have conviction in talking to people about asset value, just use what I tell you as a stimulus for you to go study it. Go study what you would have to amass in real estate or equities or cash and the income that they would produce in order for you to have $10,000 a month in income. And you'll find something in the order of $2 million. But you want your own examples or your own experience in creating that. So that when you speak to people, you're not parroting my words, they're your words, they're your research. What you will find is 10 grand a month is worth $2 million. Now we flip back into, if you invited one person a day, every day, for the full 2 years, factoring that you get 2 weeks a year off, because we know that you're trained to get a 2-week annual vacation. If you get 2 weeks a year off and you invite one person a day for 2 years, how many people have you invited total? 700. And if you built a business worth $2 million, what is each invite worth? Every time you make an invite, if you trust the system, if you understand the system, if you trust the system, every time you make an invite, you're building a couple of $1,000s worth of net worth, as long as you don't quit and you trust the process. That's the secret formula.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. I want to make one announcement, and we're working towards more automation on our crypto withdrawals. But for the time being, we do have withdrawals available. Uh, they will be manual requests. So, if you have commissions that you need to withdraw, please contact customer service, and we'll help you get that done. Now, before we go into Q&A, I'd like to say something that I believe is critical, maybe even more important than any strategy or script. Network marketing deserves your respect. Think about it. Where else can you start a business, a real business for a few $100s, where you don't need a storefront, employees, inventory, or a loan from the bank? Where your product is digital, your tools are provided, and your only real investment is consistent effort and belief. Now, here's the problem. Most people treat it like a lottery ticket instead of a legacy opportunity. They dabble, then disappear, and wonder why nothing happened. If you really understood the potential in front of you, you'd treat this business like you borrowed $1 million to build it and you have to show up every single day to pay it back. You'd respect the process. You'd commit for at least 2 solid years. You'd never slack off, and quitting wouldn't even be an option. That's what separates the few who become financially free from the many who never make it past the starting line. So if you've been one of those people that jumps from opportunity to opportunity like a jackrabbit, that's never going to set you financially free. Normally you would have to work, what, 40 years to build a retirement, the kind of retirement that would set you financially free. Here you can do it in sometimes a year, 2 years, 4 years. But really, if you set a goal that you're going to work it consistently, persistently for 2 to 4 years, you will create an income, a retirement bigger than you would create somewhere else in 40 years. So today, if you haven't already made that shift in your mindset, make it now. This business isn't a side hustle. It's your vehicle. It's your freedom plan, but only if you treat it that way. So let's go ahead and open up and we'll take some questions and answers. You can either raise your hand or just simply unmute. I've made it possible for you to unmute.
John,
Yes.
hi. I have a question. I know
Okay,
it's
go
real
ahead.
basic. I mean, with the invite, it comes in an email. But if I only have a phone number and I can only text somebody, and I've tried copying that link and pasting it, but it never seems to work. I mean, because most people, I don't have their email. I only have their phone to send a text.
Uh-huh.
What would be the best thing to say or to invite them with a text? I mean, how can I send them the link, in other words?
Um, I don't use phones too much, and I'm not that
Okay.
great. Probably, I'm not the person that could really tell you how to do that.
Okay.
Um, do you have Chat GPT?
Yeah, I do.
That's where I would start. I would ask Chat GPT what would be the method for doing that.
Okay.
I'm sure it's possible. Um, Pretty much anything you can do on a computer, you can do on a phone nowadays, but I just don't know what the mechanics of that are.
Okay.
But yeah, if you can get people to a webinar, that's one way of doing it. Uh, Getting people to a landing page or even sending a replay of video, because we're sending out links. You can get those in a Telegram
That's what
or,
I've been doing, sending out the replays. Yeah.
okay, okay, that's great. That works.
So, um, what's the best thing to say to somebody?
What's
Somebody
the
you don't really know. You know their name, you know who they are, what they do, but you don't really know them. What's the best thing to say to them?
what I would what I would concentrate on personally would be paying it forward. Did you did you happen to get our were you in the last webinar we did?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what I would focus on, and probably that's the one I would be sending people to. Also, if you go into your back office under your my videos,
Uh-huh.
it's the PIF 10. That's
Okay.
that's the video that's in that last
Yeah,
replay.
yeah. 10.
And
Okay.
so, yeah, I would definitely be sending that out. And I would just simply ask people, is it worth, 5 minutes of your time to, you know, I would be willing to pay you into business, but only if if it's worth 5 minutes of your time to find out what it is.
Uh-huh. Okay. I like it.
And so you, you kind of want to be a little bit selective. In other words, you're not just going to throw that out there and say, hey, I'm going to pay everybody into business because you're trying to find people that will do the same thing in turn. You want them to duplicate. However, anybody that will, pay their way into two plans and you pay their way into the third one, you come out ahead. You can't lose. So
Right.
if they never do anything, you still didn't lose.
Right. Right.
So that's what
Yeah.
I would focus on as the pay it forward.
Okay. I was a little confused about the different, plans to go
Hmm.
with, like the different matrices,
Right.
and I kind of confused myself, and I thought, okay, let me keep paying attention to get straight with it. I'm
Well,
getting to the point where I can really, really dive into it all the way, so I'm trying to really keep
yeah.
up. Yeah.
And I understood that. I could see that it was confusing. Where do you start? If I've only got $10, do I do I do the 1x2? Do I do the fast track? Do I do the gas club? What do I do? It's kind of like a lottery ticket, right?
Yeah,
But
it's just, like not sure.
with this, with the pay it forward plan, then they're coming into all three plans. They're paying, so instead of paying $10, they're going to have to pay 20. And then you're paying
Okay.
the third, you're paying them into the gas club for 10. So they're in all three plans. Can't lose. And then they're going to be more committed. They're going to be more settled, number one, because, you know, they're in all three plans.
Now,
So
what
that
are the three plans?
uh, we have the 1x2 and the fast track and the gas club.
Okay.
And we have matching plans going all the way up. We didn't have a $100 club. And so we just created a $100 club, and it's called the cash flow club.
Okay.
So it doesn't really, so it's more like, pocket money. Put money in your pocket to, do things that you couldn't otherwise do.
Uh-huh.
So that was the object behind the cash flow club. But now, if somebody wanted to come in, say they've got $200 to spend,
Uh-huh.
so they come in at the $100 1x2, the $100 fast track. You pay them into the $100, which would be the cash flow club,
Okay.
and you come out ahead. You still make money,
Okay.
and if they start duplicating, that's when it gets really, really crazy. That's
Okay.
that's where the big money comes in. But the beauty of setting this pay it forward plan with them coming in for two and you paying for one, now you never go under. You always stay cash positive.
Okay. So I have joined like four different clubs, but I don't have the 1x2 or the fast track, so I have to join them first then.
That would be good, yeah. And
Yeah.
now that we're, I would call it more settled, really have a, a track to run on. That's what I
Uh-huh.
would encourage everybody to do is get into all three.
Okay.
Now, the only one that you could actually miss some commissions on would be the 1x2. So you definitely want to try to stay ahead of the people that you sponsor on the 1x2.
Uh-huh.
But
Okay.
the other two, if somebody was to jump ahead of you, that commission is going to be held to help you upgrade to that level.
Okay. Well, it's getting clearer. Things are
Well,
getting more settled, so that's
mhm.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we really have a track to run on. And now, I plan on doing more webinars. I plan on doing more trainings, which, it's things we've needed, but I've basically been wearing all the hats.
Yeah, what happened to the professor? He's not there anymore, obviously.
Well, he's still, he's still doing some stuff behind the scenes, but he's got some other things going. He's got some classes that he's teaching on those nights for
Oh,
some kind of trading,
uh-huh.
and that's something he's been involved with for a number of years, is
Yeah, anyway.
currency trading or something like that. But yeah, he's still with us behind the scenes,
Okay.
and he'll probably come back and have a presence again.
Yeah, it's a lot on you.
Well, it is what it is, and I knew that would be
Yeah.
the case when I started the company, and I
Yeah.
didn't really want to do it, but there was no place else to go.
I know.
There's just nobody out there that I felt like I could trust, and
Yep,
so
I've been
many,
there, seen it happen.
yeah, there's
Yep.
nothing out there that's lasting, sticking around, and this is an opportunity that can go on for literally decades, for generations. And people think, well, we're going to run out of numbers. Well, how long's Amway been in business? Something like 70 years, close to
Yeah.
70 years. And they're not even 1% of the population. So saturation will never happen with any company. It's just
Right.
an impossibility. But there will
Right.
always be room for growth. There will always be room for new people coming on board, room for people to, set themselves up financially. And as we go forward and build a large member base, we will bring on products. We'll have probably nutritional products. We can go into any field of products that we want to go into. And, by you building a member base right now, and then whatever we bring on later on, that's just, that's gravy. That's icing on the cake. Plus, it'll be residual income that will, just keep coming over and over and over again, because we'll have products that are consumable.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I know about the business cards. So
Uh-huh.
it's like, what would you do? You just like download that card and then use it to create your own card, or because it doesn't have fillable fields in it, does it?
Um, well, if you take it to a printer, they can customize that card with pretty much any way you want to do it. They'll
Yeah,
download the file and they can customize it for you.
because
If
that's what
you
I need is things to hand out to people.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you were, and I used to years ago, I used to do a lot of cards. Um, and I would get these just print up some little message, advertisement on a card, and I'd go around and hand them out, or drop them here and there, put them on bulletin boards, uh, put them put them in people's, slide down the window on the driver's side door, and
Yeah.
And
Right.
I did a lot of cards, but
I like what you said about even speaking of cars and handing out cards like to car dealers for the different clubs or for the real estate people for the,
absolutely,
people that are
absolutely.
always in touch with people. So I'm like, yeah, I need to have some materials or some flyers printed up and actually do it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's right now it's fertile ground. There's, very, very few people have ever heard about this. And, people, well, at your convenience store, at your gas station, whatever, talk to those people, get them involved in the business. They can print up cards and have them sitting right there on the counter. Somebody comes in and they see a card and they just grab one and they
Right.
go check out the website. So anybody that's in business, chiropractors are often, looking for other ways to make money. There are certain groups of people that, branch out. Uh, some of your pastors, they get involved with network marketing and they've got a group of people that they're working with. They're
Mhm.
seeing people every day. And so they've got people to talk to. So these are the kind of, these are not the only people that you would talk to, but you got to make one presentation a day, right? Or one invitation a day.
Right.
So what does it take? If you have some cards printed out and you're out inviting, right? You go to the
Well,
grocery,
yeah.
you go to the grocery store, and if you see somebody that, you feel like you can talk to, just hand them a card and say, hey, you might check this out. This could be a way to help you pay for your groceries. Same way at the gas pump. Every time you go to the gas pump, tuck a card somewhere for the next person that comes along. They might pick it up, go to your website and join.
Mhm.
Drop cards, wherever you go, because you don't know who will pick it up. It's, the timing's got to be right, right person, right time. They're going to pick that up and they're going to join.
Right. Well, I'm still around and that's what I'm planning to finally do. Finally.
That's great.
Everything happens at the right moment. So
Hmm.
I'm like, this is the right moment, Christina.
Well, here's what I can tell you.
Yeah.
Anybody that will take this formula, anybody that will take this formula, just be serious about it, be committed, stick with it, don't miss a day. Whatever you do, you set a habit of doing every single day. When I get up in the morning, first thing I do is I sit up and meditate for a while. Before I go to bed, I sit up and meditate. And it was just, I had to create the habit. But now if I happen to lay down without meditating, it's like, oh, got to sit up. It's just, it's a habit. And if you create that habit of doing that one presentation every single day, now, if a presentation is worth $500, and I'll tell you that it is, then maybe you want to do two a day or three a day or five a day. Uh, and people that network marketers frequently they'll do what they call a 90-day blitz. They just for 90 days they're going to go all out and they're going to put in, I mean, all day long and probably well into the night, they're going to be recruiting. And so they figure, and I've done it, in 90 days, you can literally set yourself up with $10,000 income. I've done it.
Yep.
More than 10,000.
I've heard you say that. I
Yeah,
have.
in that short a time, you know, uh,
Mhm.
one company, it was just like it was increasing $3,000 a month. First month was like, not even numbers, but first month 3,000, next month 6,000, next month 9,000. Within 6 months, I was, 18,000 a month.
Mhm.
So, these are just examples, but with the opportunity we have here, that is small change.
Uh-huh.
18,000 a month here is literally small change. Um, because as people start climbing up in the higher clubs, you're going to earn, you'll have days, you'll have $10,000 days, you'll have $15,000 days. Not every day, but you'll have those days that you'll
Wow.
be you'll be earning that kind of money. And of course, the more you work it, the harder you work it. Uh, this is really the way in a year's time, I think anybody could become a millionaire with this. But they'd have to treat it like a business. As if you had borrowed $1 million to open up a business. You got to show up every day, and probably you got to put in long hours. But if you would treat this the same way that you did a business that you had to borrow $1 million to start, it'll pay you that kind of money.
Mhm. Exciting.
Yeah, I'm glad you're getting excited, Christina.
Well, I've been excited. It's just that, like a lot of people, I've had so much other stuff going on, I
Oh,
can't think straight.
sure. No, I
But oh well.
understand. Well, now you know that no matter how busy you get, you
Yeah.
got to fit that one invitation in every single day,
Yeah.
and it'll become a habit.
I gotta join those other clubs, the 1x2 and the fast track,
Mhm.
because I already got the gas, the grocery, the travel, and the other one.
There you go.
Okay, I know what to do. Thank
Okay.
you, John.
You're welcome. Thank you, Christina.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Don't be shy. I know you've got questions. That's what this training is all about. Really get your questions answered, get your uh, set on the right track so you know what to do. And all you have to do is just when you wake up in the morning, you go for it. All right. We have a question here. Go ahead and unmute. 951 area code.
It's Michael
There you
Johnson.
go. Hey, Michael.
Hi. I wasn't aware that this training was going to happen. Are you recording it?
I am.
Oh, great. Okay, I'll ask my questions on the recording.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Michael. Okay, Dana.
Hey, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Um, a- about how many members do we already have?
A little over about 5,300.
Oh, okay. And if you want to do like send out flyers, is there a mailing list company that you would recommend?
I haven't bought mailing lists for a number of years. Um, I would probably start, ask Chat GPT if they've got some recommendations.
Okay.
Uh, so yeah, there are plenty of providers out there, I'm sure. Not all of them are credible, so I might look for references, that type of
Okay.
thing, of people who have used the service.
Okay.
Okay,
And also,
go ahead.
well, my next question, well, I think I just forgot it. Like the guy that just spoke was talking about he didn't know about the meeting. Are we getting emails? Because I haven't been getting any emails.
Okay, good point. We had somebody spam our email, and we got blacklisted, so we had to change the email address. The address we send from, so it probably went to your spam folder. So if you could
Okay.
go to your spam folder and click that it's not spam, yeah, all of you, if everybody would go to your spam folder, if you got an email the more people that, mark it as not spam, that'll help to whitelist this. And you can also, like if you've got Gmail, you click the little three dots, you open the email, click the three dots, you can create what do they call it? Uh, slipped my mind. Anyway, you can set it where it won't go to spam. It'll always come to your inbox.
Okay. Okay. Thank
You
you.
mean whitelist?
What's that?
Are you talking
Whitelist?
about whitelisting?
Yeah, you can whitelist if you, and again, you can go to Google or Chat GPT and say, how do I whitelist my email or an email address? And you can do that. I think you can actually whitelist the whole domain, which would be bdmcommunity.com. Yeah, the
Thank you so much.
more people that do that, that will help to get us, recognized with the email providers that we're not a scam organization. We're legitimate.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dana. Any other questions? Okay. Well, I get confused. It's
Yeah,
my
John.
night, so I go ahead, David.
Yeah, I was just wondering about the new marketing system that you said was coming out soon.
Okay.
I was
The people that are creating that for us, they've been out of town, but I believe by the end of next week we should have that somewhere,
yeah.
something like that.
All right. Could you like go into a little detail about how that works, or would that be,
I really don't have a great deal of information on it. All I know is this team has built these systems for a number of companies and charged as much as $15,000 to do that. Um, they're giving us a very special deal, and to begin with, it's only going to cost members like a dollar a month. I think they're going to be raising the price to maybe $7 a month, something like that. When they raise the price, then there will be like a commission associated with that. So if you refer some of your downline members to that, then it can actually pay for itself. But it's going to help you get prospects, help you to follow up with them, help you to sign them up. As I understand it, we'll learn more as that rolls out, but it should be a great help to our members.
okay, so it's like a third party type
Yeah, it's
deal.
built by a third party. We were actually looking into building one ourselves, but when you have a company that's been building them for a period of time and had success, and if it's actually we would pay our programmers more to do it than what they would do it for us. So we had to look at it that way too, because we would have to do the research and development and it would be, starting from the ground up. To give you an example, in my last company, I had my programmers build a system whereby we could create network marketing compensation plans very, very quickly. And we had considered possibly becoming an MLM company provider, a software provider. And so literally, where normally if you go to a provider and you give them a compensation plan, it might take 60, 90 days for them to create that plan for you. We could do it typically in a day. So knowing and understanding that, realizing this other company had the playbook already developed for how to do all of this, it really didn't make any sense for us to start from the ground, and try to build it ground up.
Yeah, okay.
But, we can, as time goes on, we can, we can do many great things. If other things come along that we need to create or build, we can't, buy it, or it's, cost prohibitive. We will continue to provide things going forward. Our goal is to become the biggest company in the industry, and we're not going to stop until we do it. Okay. Thank you, David.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, folks, what you've got your hands on here has never existed before. Literally, you will get 20 times the pay for the same amount of work working for some other company. And it's only a matter of time until the world begins to figure that out. There's what they call the 100th monkey syndrome. They had several monkey colonies around the world. This is a real scientific experiment. Monkeys typically don't eat anything from the ground, but they took in different monkey colonies, and they were on different parts of the world, on different sides of the ocean, and they started planting these. They were sweet potatoes, either that or yams or sweet potatoes. I don't remember which. And they were burying them in the sand next to the sea. This one baby monkey started digging them up and washing them and eating them. And this went on for several days. And the mother saw the baby doing it, and then she tried it, and then gradually more monkeys began doing it. And by the time there was 100 monkeys in this one colony doing it, it was like a universal consciousness. Monkeys from all around, from all these other colonies, just started doing it as if they had known to do that, forever. And so there is this, call it a universal consciousness. And it seems like every invention from the automobile coming forward, it took a long time for the automobile to take over the horse and buggy. It took a long time for the refrigerator to basically eliminate the ice box. It took a long time for, other technologies to catch on. But now we look at the computer or the cell phone. Everybody has one, right? But it wasn't always that way. And as more people come to learn about BDM and how we differ from all of the other companies, it's only a matter of time till literally we become the biggest company out there. I really believe that. I had a vision many, many years ago where I saw it happen, and I believe it was real. I may be wrong, but I'm sticking by that until I'm proven otherwise. Okay, well, if we don't have any other questions, let's go ahead and close. But today, we didn't just talk about strategy. We talked about mindset. And mindset is more powerful than you realize. Science now confirms what the Bible has been telling us all along. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Well, science tells us that the things that we manifest match the frequency at which we vibrate. So if we want to manifest something, all we have to do is vibrate at that frequency and it will manifest. So let's look at this formula from both a spiritual and a scientific point of view. You consciously imagine that each invitation that you make is paying you $500. Doing that causes you to vibrate at a frequency that makes you less afraid and more at ease to invite someone to take a look. And if that wasn't enough, the very act of visualizing that you are being paid $500 per invitation will cause it to manifest. Now, we didn't just watch a video, we saw a blueprint for freedom, and we don't even need to understand how it works to use it and make it work. And I want you to remember this. You don't need to be perfect to succeed. You just need to be consistent. You don't have to be loud, but you do have to be present. You don't have to know everything. You just have to show up day after day as someone who's serious about building something real. And if you're serious, truly serious, And there's one simple action you must never miss. Make at least one invitation a day. One sincere invitation every day, rain or shine. Why? Because if you trust the plan and follow it to the letter, the ratio will work in your favor. Over time, every invitation you make can be worth over $500 if you stay committed. But here's the part most people miss. There seems to be a higher power, an all-seeing force that watches closely to see how deeply you're committed. And until you've proven that you're all in, until you've shown you can be trusted with the opportunity by your consistency, the doors to massive success remain closed. Missing even one day sends a message that you're still not ready. That maybe you want the reward, but you're not yet willing to pay the price. And that gap, the gap between desire and discipline, is what keeps most people stuck in life they secretly want to escape. But that's not going to be your story. So let's leave here today with fresh vision, fierce determination, and full respect for the gift you've been given. Now's the time. This is the vehicle, and you're not alone. We're here to support you every step of the way. So let's go to work. God bless. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you very soon.